Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, React and Chill. I'm Dika. So last time on Bleach, Aizen unfortunately was found impaled on the side of a building, so he's been murdered, and this obviously had devastated Momo, his lieutenant. There's already been some shady unrest going on amongst the captains or something, especially in between Aizen and Gin. And Momo's number one suspect was Gin. So she was about to, obviously once his body was discovered, she was about to go off and murder him. But his lieutenant, Izuru, had also stepped in. So he was trying to tell her to back off, and unfortunately this led to Momo unleashing her Zanbakuto, and therefore they were about to literally get him into a death battle until Toshiro, another captain, had stepped in and got them both arrested, making sure they had stopped fighting. I don't think I'd mentioned this last time, but I've got to mention that there's been wartime rules have been now declared amongst the captains, so all lieutenants and captains were asked to be carrying their Zanbakutos to make sure they had them, obviously in response to the invading Ryoka. Meanwhile, Chad was on his way to the tower, and he also now got the attention of Kyohaku. Apologies if I'm saying that name wrong. So he's another captain who's gotten... So he's another captain who's now going to, I'm assuming him and Chad are going to be duking it out. And Ichigo has just about recovered from his fight with Renji. So him, Ganju and Hanataro were making their way closer to the tower when they are now confronted with Kenpachi. So they were being crushed by spiritual pressure. Ichigo will have to go up against Kenpachi, and Kenpachi has been running around all over the Serite looking for Ichigo. And obviously all the claims as he's heard about who this person was, defeating his seat 3 Ikaku. So yeah, so yes, now let's get into episodes 36 and 37. Oh yeah.
You look terrible.
Rangiku, I'm sorry I lost control out there. I made trouble for you too, Rangiku.
Huh? It's a complete disaster. Something like this happening right here in the midst of all the squads. It's unheard of.
Evidence? But I already know who killed him.
Don't say it, Momo. That is an accusation that you can't make. All in one day, your squad has lost both its captain and lieutenant. I appreciate that you're hurt and you're angry. Nevertheless, here. This was in Captain Aizen's room.
They're for me?
I haven't read any of it, and I don't know what it says. But it seems to me that as a loyal lieutenant, you should be very honored to know that your captain's last words were for you.
I think it was a couple of episodes ago we saw the ending of Rangiku and Gin together, assuming they grew up together. So of course she would be getting two things. They're correct, Momo shouldn't be making those sorts of accusations. And secondly, I wonder if Rangiku's also with her presumed, I'm assuming, her history with Gin. There's also something else there, hoping that he's not out here murdering other captains.
Momo, if you're reading this letter, then it means I didn't make it back. That whatever I kept from you, it was only because I wanted, if at all possible, to keep you from becoming involved in all this. I leave this record of the truths I have uncovered.
I wonder what that says.
This spiritual pressure!
We have got to move and get to the tower before the enemy finds us!
Hanataro must be drained.
Try.
I was getting tired of waiting. Well now, let's see.
Oh, he's gonna fall.
I can't keep running. I've got no strength left.
Sure can be a pain in the ass, kid. 3 of them, huh?
Oh, he's
Which is the one?
there.
Are you the one?
Oh.
What's the matter with you? How long are you gonna keep looking over there?
He's already behind him. Oh my. Oh! Oh, It was.
What the hell just happened?
It was like he.
I could swear I just got stabbed.
Are you Ichigo Kurosaki?
How do you know my name?
Everyone knows
Who
your
are
name.
you anyway?
I'm Captain of Squad 11, Kenpachi Zaraki. I'm here to fight you to the death.
Oh my god.
I've just challenged you to a fight to the death. I assume since you won't answer me, it's all right with you if I start.
Oh.
Oh. Hey, are you okay?
Ichigo, you idiots!
But Ganju!
We just got the wind knocked out of us by this spiritual pressure.
You must have scared that little guy pretty bad, Kenny, to make him do that. Huh?
Who are you? Or maybe I should ask,
What are
what
you?
are you?
I'm also known as the lieutenant of the 11th squad. It's nice of you to ask.
Oh my god.
A lieutenant? Same rank as Renji? I didn't notice her at all until she landed right on my shoulder. Hey, Ganju!
Right here.
Get Hanataro up and go on ahead. You save Rukia.
I'm not the least bit interested in your two friends, nor for that matter your mission to free that rukia.
Oh.
I must say your spiritual pressure is something else. Way too much for even some lieutenants. No wonder Ikaku lost to you. I'll give you an advantage.
Give me a what?
I'll let you go ahead and have the first strike. I'll stand here and you can cut me anywhere you want. Just quit your quivering and attack!
Oh, please. Be careful.
Ichigo, don't do it! Run!
Hold still!
Handle them? Are you crazy? By himself? He can't. He's got to get away. It's the only way he'll survive.
In that case, we definitely can't go back. We'll keep going forward and try to reach Rukia.
But
Ichigo gave us a job to do. He told us to save Rukia, right? When this is all over, we'll go back to the Rukon district together. We still have a lot of things I want to talk to you about.
Oh. Oh yes, he attacked him. But oh my god. Ichigo's the one who got.
This can't be happening. I know I swung with full force, and I know I didn't miss.
Is that really all you have?
Oh my god.
I'm disappointed.
Touch the Zangetsu's blade with his bare hand. That's crazy.
You're kind of a slow learner, aren't you, Ichi?
Shall I tell you? You'd probably like to know why your sword can never cut me. Whenever two spiritual pressures collide, the weaker one gets pushed down. It's forced to submit.
Oh, okay. So so it's almost as if he's saying that his Kenpachi's own spiritual pressure is making Zangetsu submit because it's the stronger one. That is actually quite terrifying, knowing how strong we know Zangetsu's spirit is. Oh my god! But I don't think that's Zangetsu's full power yet. So that's why he mentioned that your sword, and even I know her name now, Yachiru, said that you're never gonna cut him, not with that blade, because they could probably sense that the. So now I'm not sure if he's, and I hope he explains it. I'm not sure if he means that the spiritual pressure of Zangetsu, his own blade, is nowhere near. So.
What a joke. When I think of all the time I spent looking for someone as unworthy as you. Now it's my turn, Ichigo. Try to live long enough to at least let me get the rust off this thing.
Chat, yeah.
He's here, Captain.
Hold it right there, Ryoka. I'm the assistant adjutant and third seat of Squad 8. I am Tatsufusa Enjoji.
Are you sure about that?
With the incredible technique of the great swordsman Tatsufusa Enjoji, though for you it will also...
Oh! This guy was third seat.
Whoa, that was pretty good. My name is Shunsui Kiraku, Squad 8 Captain. Hey, now, enough with the flower petals already. I guess she didn't
No, no.
Lovely, lovely. No, no.
I don't have time to stay and watch your routine. Please just step aside.
Life's too short to take it so seriously.
I've asked you nicely. I'm in kind of a hurry.
I thought as much. I guess that leaves us no choice. We'll have to have a friendly drink.
Oh.
So I suggest you move. Now. I'll move you.
Oh. Oh my goodness. He literally deflected that.
I had hoped that we could avoid all this, but here we are.
Uh-oh. Oof, and he's just deflecting it.
You missed again.
Our captain's really that powerful.
Those where you can still push beyond that point, but at the expense of your life force. Your attacks are obviously the latter type.
Oh. He just...
I'll spare you the usual insults and allow you to withdraw now gracefully. What's your purpose?
I've come to save the life of rukia.
Oh, come on.
That's not the point. I might not risk my life for her, but Ichigo wants to save her life.
Oh, he's got two swords?
Unfortunately, it means now I'm going to have to take your life.
Ichigo, I will defeat him somehow. I swear, even if it costs me my life.
Damn you! Why don't you go down?
Look at the acrobatics.
What I don't get is why you were just standing there, Chad.
Sado,
Yeah, Sato, Chad, whatever.
I made a promise that I would never use my fist for my own sake. It's a vow I made to Abuelo.
What is that medallion thing you wear around your neck anyway?
Oh, you mean this? Absolutely. Probably worth more than my life.
Hey, whose cell phone?
It must belong to one of those guys who took off.
You should throw it in the river if you ask me.
These look like grown-ass men. They're not high school students.
I relied on my size, and if anyone so much as looked at me wrong, I'd punch them out. The only one who ever even tried to keep me in line was Abuelo.
What the hell?
So you scared now? You're not gonna start pissing yourself. Are ya?
I don't have to go at the moment.
They're gonna try and take his
Well, then, in
medallion.
that case, now what did you say? Something about this being worth more than your life?
Oh.
You will. Mijo, you were given a strong body and fists for a reason, but you must learn for yourself what that reason is. Don't be stupid. Give it up.
Here it is.
Yo, Weasel, are you all right?
Hello, yes. I'd like to request an ambulance, please. In fact, send a few down to the end of 2nd Street, right under the bridge. How many? 1, 2...
Oh my god. Oh my lord.
If there's ever anything so important you protect it with your life, I'll protect it with mine as well.
That's so sweet. Ichigo, best boy?
Yes, Ichigo. I promise.
Oh, oh my lord. Oh. Oh. What the so that was episode 36 and 37. There were two good episodes. So starting off with 36, we had Ichigo, Ganju, and Hanataro. Apologies, I was calling him Hanataro, but it's Hanataro. Ended up running into Kenpachi, Zaraki, and Oh, before we even get to that, Momo is now in jail, and another lieutenant, Rangiko, had come over to give her a letter that was found in Aizen's room. So they're still investigating and trying to collect evidence, and Rangiko had said to Momo, don't be making accusations like that. And I did just briefly mention in the reaction I wonder if that's more to do with Rangiko maybe having a history with Gin, not wanting to believe that he could be capable of murder. So she said to her that you're lucky that it was my captain, Rangiko's captain, who found it, otherwise you'd have never seen this. So in the letter, Aizen explains that, if you're reading this, it means that I've died, and he didn't want to get Momo involved, but she unfortunately had to get involved. And I think he also reveals something in the letter, but we don't find out just yet. So like I was saying, Hanataro, Ganju and Ichigo end up being hit with Kenpachi's spiritual pressure, and I don't know, it was almost as if he had these he's got a very strong intent to kill, to the point where it was encompassing the three. I was very aware that Hanataro had wasted a lot of his spiritual energy in helping heal Ichigo, so he was going to be the first to collapse. Luckily, Ganju was able to lift him up, and then when they actually did come face to face with Kenpachi, when he actually appeared, Ichigo told Ganju to leave, take Hanataro with him, because he was essentially, if he stayed in the presence of Kenpachi any longer, he would have died, because whatever spiritual pressure energy had left was literally being drained from him. So yes, like I mentioned, Kenpachi's spiritual pressure was immense, to the point that Ichigo can sense his intent to kill. So he even felt him stab him, even though he never physically stabbed him, but mentally he had stabbed him. Oh, we finally get the name of his lieutenant, and even Ichigo said that, I don't know who she is or what she is, but her name was Yachiru Kusajishi. So Yachiru is his lieutenant, and obviously Ichigo put two and two together and realized that she's the same rank as Renji, so she must be powerful. And we know the fight that Ichigo, not the fight, but what Ichigo had to go through in terms of going up against Renji. So the other thing was that, I don't know if they had mentioned this before, but the walls of the repentance cell is made out of seki. So seki was what the serite was made out, was what the serite walls were made out of. We learned this a couple of episodes back. So that seki has its own spiritual barrier around it, which means any form of spiritual energy trying to break through it won't happen, because it completely repels it. It's got its own barrier, which I know I've been saying she must feel that. However, now it makes sense that if it was able to get through the seki walls, that is big energy. So I don't know if Rukia was sensing Kenpachi's energy or if it was Ichigo's energy, but it probably was Kenpachi's energy. So Kenpachi had said to him, I've been looking for you, you could have the first strike, go ahead. He made a couple of comments on Ichigo, his stance. Obviously he could feel his energy when he was powering up, but he made a few comments on his stance, but he said that your spiritual pressure is really good. So when Ichigo went to attack, his attack did nothing to Kenpachi. In fact, it hurt Ichigo more than it did Kenpachi. And Kenpachi did explain that, when two spiritual pressures collide, the weaker one will obviously lose. And in this sense, Kenpachi's energy was much more bigger. And there was something he mentioned about how even Yachiru had mentioned that blade, speaking about Ichigo's sword, wasn't going to do nothing to Kenpachi, because the spiritual pressure, or the spirit of Zangetsu in his sword, his Sanbakuto, would submit, which is crazy to think that it would submit automatically to the stronger spiritual pressure, and that was Kenpachi. So Ichigo was definitely taken aback by this. He has never come across anything like that. Even with his confidence and everyone that he faced, the spiritual pressure surrounding Kenpachi was so encompassing that it was frightening for Ichigo. So at this point, Kenpachi said, you know, I duel you to the death. He felt a bit disappointed how he was looking for Ichigo, and it looks like he's going to be able to kill Ichigo. It wasn't going to be a match for him. So that episode ended when Kenpachi and Ichigo, he went to strike Ichigo, and Ichigo went to do his counterattack. At the same time, Kenpachi's name was passed down through, I don't know if it was always Squad 11 being the strongest squad, or Kenpachi the warrior. That particular name was always given to the strongest and the most bloodthirsty. So the fact that Kenpachi is like that, he was trying to tell Ganju that Ichigo doesn't stand a chance. But Ganju, staying true to Ichigo, said that we are here on a mission. We need to keep moving forward. We went back to Chad, and then Chad obviously coming into, and by the looks of it, the Squad 8 barracks, or where they are. So first he had come across, let's see. First he had come across the Squad 8 third seat, Tetsufusa and Joji, which he made quick work of him. He punched him he literally made him blast off like Team Rocket. He punched him away. And obviously the lieutenant of Squad 8, Nanao, said to her captain that, you know, why don't you let me go and deal with him? I could deal with he's only one person. But he said, no, don't worry, I'll go ahead and do what I need to do. So he made an entrance, and he goes by the name of, again, I'm not sure why I had some other name for last time, so I do apologize. So he was Captain Shunsui Kuriaku. So Shunsui Kuriaku was the captain of Squad 8, and he was trying to get Chad to, you know, forget about fighting. He even offered him a drink, you know, because he's like, it's futile. If you're gonna fight me, I'm gonna end up having to kill you, because that's just how it is. At this point, Chad, being able to punch and get rid of everyone out of his way, tried the same attack on the captain. However, it didn't work, because not only did he stop the first blast, but he kept deflecting and avoiding all the consecutive blows that Chad was trying to throw at him. At this point, we did get another flashback with Chad and being beaten up by other adult-looking middle schoolers / high schoolers. And then Ichigo was there to beat them up, and he'd asked him, you know, why don't you fight back? So he mentioned that I made a promise to my grandfather to never use my own fists for myself, never to use them to beat people up. And then he remembers and goes on to explain to us how when he was younger, so he was born in Japan, but then after losing his parents, he grew up, he spent some time in Mexico, where he grew up with his grandfather. And his Sado was always, or Chad / Sado was always fighting. He was using his size and his fists. He'd always get into fights, so he was going through a rough time. And his grandfather always took him back in. His grandfather was always on his side. But there was this one time where he was cornered by these adults, and his grandfather stood his ground and protected him, even though his grandfather got beat up in the process. So obviously once Chad had saw that, and, you know, he realized the error of his ways, he got the medallion from his grandfather, where when the same gang of kids were trying to take him, they were trying to take that medallion, because he mentioned to Ichigo that, you know, the medallion's worth more than his life. But then Ichigo came and rescued him again, which was actually so sweet in that moment. And Ichigo said that, if you're not going to throw punches for yourself, Chad, let me throw punches for you, and I hope in return you could throw punches for me. Which explains why, obviously, Chad being in the Serete, punching all these guys, he's throwing punches. He made a promise to Ichigo to get Rukia back, so he's throwing punches for Ichigo, which again is really sweet to show their relationship and to show how far they've come as a friendship. And I forgot to mention, even Captain Kuriaku asks him, you know, Rukia was really in the spirit world for a little bit, how can you develop that sort of relationship? But he mentioned that he's doing it for Ichigo. Ichigo wants her back, then I want her back. And I forgot to mention this, I don't know if it was mentioned before, if I had touched upon it, but this captain said that Rukia, who went missing. Now, I know essentially she didn't go missing, she stayed back in the human world. not in the spirit world, in the human world, because of her powers that she had given to Ichigo, and she was hoping to get those powers back. So again, as long as that was as long as she if she was meant to be reporting back and she didn't, and then that's when Byakuya and Renji had come to the human world, then that's different. But by the sounds of it, everyone is aware that she had been missing for a little while. Secondly, Shinsui also mentions that the captains are now involved in not hunting, but getting involved with the Ryoka. So I know that Kenpachi has come across Ichigo. We've got Captain Kuryaku with Chad, and I'm assuming we're going to have one more captain on Uryu and Orihime's tail as well. So that's probably something we would see. So as towards the end, Shinsui got his 2 swords out, and this time he said, I'm going to be serious, I'm going to have to stop you right here. And Chad was on his way to do a final blow. I think that final blow that Chad was going to throw, the captain did dodge it, but then he cut him. Again, I don't know the extent because it finished. I don't know the extent of Chad's injury, but it did somehow. I don't know if it went across his neck, but the medallion he was wearing from his grandfather also fell. Which I forgot to mention, the medallion was a constant reminder of his grandfather and always to remember what he promised him. So that's why he keeps it. So yes, that was it. Those were 2 good episodes. I like how we're getting to see more captains and more squads, and obviously I don't know what this means for Chad. I'm wondering if we're going to be back in that fight with Kenpachi next time, because I'm really worried for Ichigo, especially how incredibly scared he was in Kenpachi's presence. And I wonder if we're going to see Orihime and Uryu. And that was it. Thank you so much. And as always, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.